Hey guys, Rob Shoegraph here with Three Storm Fitness. Yes, this is a fitness channel, and yes, I'm doing a guitar video, and no, this will not become a guitar channel, and no, I don't think I'm a guitar guru or expert or anything anywhere near any of that. So why am I making this video? I don't exactly know. This is one of those things that this is a video that I've been thinking about making for a long time. Really, I don't know. I don't know exactly why. Good start. But I'm going to try to talk my way through it. So first off, I've had a lot of people ask me over the years. I don't know why. I'll theorize, but ask me if I could teach them how to play a guitar or how do you play like that. And I'm going to say there are so many better guitar players than me. Just in my tiny little town, guys and girls who can play circles around me and actually know what they're doing, and have 50,000 songs in their tool belt. I could barely play any songs. I'll explain this in a second. But the reason I think people ask me is because there's a way that I play, and it's about the only way I even know how to play, and that is I just kind of improvise. I play guitar at church in my praise band, and it's the first band and only band I've ever been in. And basically everybody else are musicians, and they're actually playing everything, and I'm just kind of sitting in the background, fiddling, filling in the gaps, throwing in a solo. Just the old praise band leader Lawrence told me one time, he's like, he starts telling me, okay, Rob, we're switching the song to a C minor, or we're actually going to do this in the bridge and all. I'm just like, and he's like, all right, you don't know what I'm talking about, do you? I'm like, no. He's like, just make it sound how you think it should sound. So that's normally how I play. I play totally by ear, for better or for worse. My wife is a music genius. She has a degree in it. She knows everything. When I'm playing something, she knows exactly what I'm doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. And that's how most musicians are. So I want to lay all that out ahead of time. You probably turned it off by now. But I want to show you guys how to play. If you're just somebody who's like, I know so many people like this. And again, this is why I'm making this video, who are like, I've had this guitar. Maybe I bought a guitar 20 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever. I don't know where to start. I picked it up. I tried to play something. It was really freaking hard. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just going to kind of tell you my very, very basic principles that you could start with to just start playing today. But first I want to tell you the benefits of why that's important, and like why I'm going to try to make this work on my fitness channel. I'm going to try to just slam this round peg into the square hole. Arnold Schwarzenegger, a heck of a guitarist. No, I don't think he's ever played. Maybe he does. I don't know. He knows everything else. Arnold Schwarzenegger, you guys probably have heard him say that like everything in life, all his success in life, he learned from the gym. And if you haven't worked out for a long time, you haven't had experience breaking through plateaus, they're achieving new things, whether it be like body composition goals or basically burning fat and gaining muscle, or strength, or whatever your goals are. It's really hard to understand how that could possibly be a real thing. How somebody can learn everything in life from the weight room. Well, it's because of all those things I just said. You get really good at anything, and you put the hours in, the time in. You especially when it comes to discipline and patience, and just having confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to figure something out. You can apply those traits to everything you do. One thing about guitar and instruments in general is that it adds a creative aspect to it. Now, one of the reasons I like fitness so much, and one of the reasons I became a personal trainer, is because of the creative side of it. Is because there's just an endless amount of ways to do things and work with the equipment you have, or more often the equipment you don't have, overcome obstacles, and you have to be creative for that. No doubt. And no matter what you do, you have to be creative. The creativity, it just comes in different ways. But the cool thing about guitar, or like I said, any instrument for that matter, I imagine you can apply the same things I'm going to show you today to any instrument, and it's going to work. I just won't be able to show you because I can't play anything else. It's questionable whether I can play the guitar. You be the judge if you make it that far in the video. So what was my point? The cool thing about art, about music, is that if you go in the weight room and you're going to try something new and you've never done it before, first of all, I don't discourage you. Get out there and try it, but be safe. And that's the thing. You do something on the mats, like maybe you're doing jiu-jitsu or some other martial art, and you're trying something new and you're just going for it. It's great. It's well encouraged. That is how you grow, bottom line, by changing things up in a way that makes sense. But you run that risk of getting hurt. And when you're playing guitar, you can learn those important creativity life lessons without getting hurt. I mean, it's virtually impossible to get hurt playing guitar. I know you have like overuse, cramping, and carpal tunnel, and maybe you're stringing and you cut yourself on the string. But like really, for the most part, you don't get hurt failing. You just do and you learn. So it's very important if you have, and plus it's just, man, it just gives you something else to do. Honestly, a lot of times when I'm writing or before I make a video or before I go down to the barn and lift, and my mind's all screwed up, I pick up the guitar and I just play. Now it does backfire. Sometimes I intend to play for 5 minutes and it turns into 50 minutes, and then my day's screwed up. So you run the risk of that, but it just gets my mind right. It like puts me in the zone. And so it's just, there's so many reasons to play. You pick up chicks, I guess, that whole thing. Now, I will say, I will get to the point, guys. I promise I will get to the point, I think. If you're looking to play like I play, and again, I keep saying that, and you'll see what I mean in a sec. If you just take everything I say as gospel and go with it, you probably won't pick up a lot of chicks playing guitar unless they are guitarists. And let me explain that. I've been in so many like social settings where I've been playing guitar technically I've owned a guitar for 20 years. I played pretty solid for the first 2 years. I took about a 15-year hiatus and then picked it back up when somebody at church found out that I knew a couple scales. And then I sort of got into it that way. So I'm back in it. So literally thank God for that, because I do love it. But if you're in a social situation, like a party or something, there's a guitar in the corner, you pick it up, you start fiddling around. I'll be on the couch maybe at some party, and I'll just be doing like, I don't know. Like just jamming, just kind of entertaining myself more or less. And somebody will come up and be like, "Oh, what songs do you know?" And I say, "I don't really know any. I just kind of wait for people to play first, and then I jam on it." And then they're just like, "Oh," it looks like you just kicked them in the nuts, or punch them in the face. Let's say that. Let's keep everybody involved here. And so people will not be impressed by you unless they play guitar and they want to play with you. So it's just like if you're in the weight room and you're squatting 500 pounds and somebody comes in who's never even seen somebody squat before. If you don't have a six-pack and a great butt, they're going to assume you don't really know what you're doing in the weight room. Whereas, anybody who's squatted 500 pounds knows what they're doing in the weight room, at least enough to squat 500 pounds. It's quite an accomplishment. So that's the point. If you're cool with that, now if you want to learn songs, shoot, man, there's 50,000 other ways to learn much better than this video. Much, much, much better. There are legitimate instructors out there on YouTube, on other websites, obviously in person is a great way to do it. Get second, third, fourth opinions all day long. You will not hurt my feelings. You can turn this off and wait for my next underwear review if that's your thing. So let's get to it. The one ruling principle that I'm going to tell you is if you want a way to start, a good way, and don't take it from me, take it from Eric Johnson, and take it from my buddy Dwangle. All right, I know you don't know Dwangle, you might. Justin, this is what his mom insists I call him. So Eric Johnson, I can't remember what it was. I tried to find the source. It was in a book I was reading. just don't remember which one. It's a problem with reading too many books. Is his friend asked him, or the author of the book asked him, how should I start playing? And Eric's response was, learn scales. Now, my buddy Dwangle said the same thing to me before I even knew who Eric Johnson was. He said, just learn scales. When you learn scales, now let me just kind of give you an idea what a scale is. And I'm not going to be able to tell you what the theory is behind it. I don't even know. This is bad. My wife gets I know this irritates her. Like we were listening to, I'm sorry, I'll get to the point in a second. We were listening to, we're on a road trip, I had Texas Flood playing, great, Stevie Ray Vaughan album if you haven't heard it. And there's like this extra track where he's talking and he's like, since I can't read music, I just kind of feel the song. But my wife's like, that's BS. It's like he can learn to read music. He just chose not to. Fair enough. That's fine. So you might piss people off if you're just like, I just don't know how to play. I don't know what these strings are. I know this is E. I know this is E. The rest kind of confuses me. If you want to learn what all this crap is called, it's only gonna help you. So I'm not telling you not to learn what the notes are and the theory behind it. I'm just saying you don't necessarily have to play for yourself and make yourself happy with all those benefits I mentioned before. But a scale is basically this. There's a million different kinds, different countries, different, I think, modes. I think I'm using that expression right. So this is a scale here. Do, 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 do. Right? Or this. Well, that wasn't it, but that was more or less it. So the second one I believe was a pentatonic scale, and the other one was a major scale. That's about as music theory centric as you're going to hear me talk. The only reason I'm even mentioning that is because those patterns repeat themselves they repeat themselves twice on the fretboard. You don't worry about that. You'll figure that out if you follow my advice. But there's several other little shapes on the fretboard. They're patterns. Scales are just really, the way I look at them is they're just patterns. I look at them in different shapes. There's that Friends episode. Yes, I used to watch Friends. There's a Friends episode where Phoebe's trying to teach Joey the guitar. And she's like, well, first we got to teach you the chords. This is I don't remember. She's like, this is the dinosaur and this is the sick giraffe. And I know it's meant to be stupid, but I'm just like, yeah, I get that. Like that's pretty much like how I have these like little patterns in my head that I remember, and I know that even if I don't know what key we're playing in, even if I don't know what I'm actually playing, like from a theory perspective, I know that I'm going to be able to find it on the fretboard, and all of a sudden, this just comes through practice. You're going to kind of know where to go because those patterns are going to repeat themselves regardless of where you're playing. At least for most mainstream songs. If I'm listening, if I put on like 40s at 4 and like a Gershwin song comes on, like Rhapsody in Blue is like 16 minutes and goes in like 50 different keys and stuff, that's a little different. But if you're playing like anything on the radio since 1951, you're probably going to be pretty good in a major, minor, or pentatonic scale. Now the cool thing about the major and minor, basically like that's a minor chord, that's a major chord, is that, at least from what I found, it doesn't matter. The pattern's the same. You just find a note that works. So here's the point. Go online. Go on YouTube. I'm going to try. I don't have any great sources. The sources that I use to learn these things, I don't even know if the sites exist anymore. Like I said, this was like 20 years ago. But go online and Google scale patterns. And just watch the YouTube video. I'll put some stuff. I'll find some stuff. I'll put it in there. Stuff that will get you started. And drill those patterns. Just play them. Just make yourself play them. Follow along. You're going to see guys doing stuff like this. Like I did before. Okay? So and you're just going to learn those. And you're going to go over them and over and over. And this is not how to play the guitar easily. It's how to play it simply. Okay? It's going to take practice, and it's going to feel, your fingers are going to feel so stupid, and you're going to be doing a lot of this kind of stuff. Don't worry about like these, when people get fancy and they go like, like hammer-ons and hammer-offs, so they slide into it and bend it and stuff. I'm going to tell you, you're going to be able to do all that. But you're going to have to practice it, and again, back to the experimenting. Just experiment. So let me play something to show you what I'm talking about. I don't have the internet here, so I had to download this ahead of time. I just went online. This is how I usually play. I either put on Pandora and just play whatever song comes on, play with whatever song comes on, or I go to like YouTube and play like a backing track, or I download them and then play them on my computer. So this is just a backing track. I'll link to it. I got to give the person credit. I don't really know how that works, but hopefully this video doesn't get taken off. Not that anybody will watch it. It's going to be really long. It's a guitar video about on a fitness channel, but I just had to make it. It's been bothering me. Okay, so I'm going to play a song, a backing track, which basically just means it's a song you can play with. It doesn't usually have vocals. Hopefully you can hear that. Let's see if I can turn it up at all. Pretty funky. So there's all sorts of backing tracks out there. There's everything. Like, I learned to play guitar. I had a Grateful Dead, American Beauty, and I just played that and just played with it. You can play whatever you want, all right? So this is how we do it. So let's just say you've gone through. You feel real comfortable with those patterns we talked about. If you have a decent ear for music, if you kind of know what sounds right and what doesn't, if you're listening to a song and somebody hits a wrong note and you're like, ooh, you probably have a decent ear. If you don't, no big deal. Just learn the way that 50 million other successful musicians have, and just find out what the names of the chords are and follow the scales along with those. Okay, so this is how I play. I might say, I just kind of hunt around the guitar. That doesn't sound right to me, right? But that sounds like it might work. Okay? So I know, okay, what pattern has these two notes together? First of all, let me show you this. You could just get used to the flavor of the song, whatever you're playing, by just playing one or two notes and just chill out on them. Like, just experiment, have fun. Okay, so now that I feel comfortable, okay, I know those two notes work. So what else worked with that pattern? That works. Okay, there's only a couple patterns I know that will work with this. So I'm already kind of used to the flavor of the song. All I'm doing is just running that scale that I've been practicing. I found the pattern. My fingers, let's say this is 6 months later or 6 weeks later, depending how fast you're learning and how conditioned your fingers are getting. All you have to do is just play the pattern and it'll sound pretty cool. I'll show you where to go from there, at least what I do. See, all I'm doing is just playing that same pattern. So once you learn the patterns and you find your place on the fretboard, you just play, you just have fun. And when you hit a wrong note, first of all, who cares? Secondly, own it, have fun with it. You can make it work. So let's say I go, oh, that's not right, but maybe I can make it right, right? You just sort of insist on it, right? You just sell it. Hendrix said at one point, I think it was Hendrix, I'm sure millions of guitarists have said this, you hit the wrong note, just own it and bend it into shape if you need to. So if you're like, just bend it into shape, man. All right, so where do you go from there? Because you could do this. Like, honestly, this will impress people for a little while. All I'm doing there is just very linear. It's very linear. I'm just going through the scale. I'm just repeating the same patterns. But if you want to jump around, or let me show you how to just kind of jump around, what I mean by that. So just say like, okay, so I've been doing this, but what happens if I just go from here to here, to there, or here? Or you might want to do. Or maybe I want to jump here, like this. You're never going to know unless you just go for it. And you practice it. It's going to be awkward and uncomfortable, and you're going to feel, it's going to like hurt your pride even if there's no one else in the room. But again, that's the value of learning an instrument and just going for it, because you just, no, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You're going to feel like it matters, but practice making it not matter, and everything else in your life is going to not matter where it doesn't need to be. I promise. You just got to practice. So that's the gist of that. Just start playing notes. Now, when you know a pattern, like I know, since I've been practicing the whole fretboard, learning these patterns, I know if I do this, like, I know that I also got a good pattern down here. Or this is what it sounds like if we're just playing linearly. See, it's all I'm doing is running the scale, but it sounds cool. And then if you get faster, you can just like. So, how do you like start stringing chords together and stuff? By the way, just practice sliding into stuff like. See, I screws up the note. It doesn't matter. I told you I'm not that good of a guitarist, but you can make it work. All right. So how do you play scales? Really, just chords. Like how do you this is a chord, like in this song. So how do I know that? Well, you could either learn music, like learn what what it's played in, and then you'll know. Or, like me, and look, I've learned some chords. You just, if you play long enough, you're just going to learn chords. It's not like I've never looked up a chord. I do it all the time. But the way I really got good, or at least passable at soloing with chords, like throwing them into the song, is by, so here's the scale. I know that if I hit this, basically just start pressing buttons that are in the pattern, okay? So I know this works, and I know this works, and I know this works. So practice hitting them all at once, right? And sometimes it'll sound stupid, and it'll sound goofy, like, I don't know. Actually, that kind of sounds cool. Just hit buttons. Hit buttons within the pattern and see if it sounds cool to you. If it doesn't, again, who cares? And probably you just say you're playing jazz. I mean, people who play jazz, I love jazz, by the way, but they're not watching this. They're better than this. So when you put it all together, when you feel comfortable with it, you could just play anything. You play to anything. You could fake anything. Like, all I'm doing is it's all in that little pattern. I've just done it for so long that I can do it easily. Doesn't mean I can't get much better, and hopefully I will as my life goes on. Let me turn this off. It's just practice. It's practice. You start with something real simple, like a scale pattern. It's just a pattern. There's patterns in life all over the place. Ever since preschool, you gotta learn patterns. Nothing different. It just happens to be on a bunch of pieces of metal that you got to press down with your fingers and listen for it. See if it sounds right. Again, if you don't have an ear, so to speak, like I don't have perfect pitch or anything, but I do kind of have a decent ear. I know I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to play by ear. I'd just be hitting wrong notes all the time, which I still do. But if you don't have an ear, then again, you could still apply the same thing. The only difference is going to be if it's in, let's say it's in C, let's say it starts with the C, the song starts with the C chord, then you know, okay, well, my scale's going to be here. And we're just going to play how I showed you before. The same thing still applies. So if you know that that's down here, you're going to know that this is up here. This little thing, I'm going to tell you what, this will be the last thing I'll leave you with. This probably should have gone first, but I was talking about never learning songs and stuff. Usually, I am 100% a full proponent of learning as many songs as you want to learn. Because one thing you're going to find, usually when I want to learn a song, this little thing I did here, or whatever that was, I hear Hendrix do it a lot. He'll do like, or if you know like Little Wing, and I can't really play it very well, but he'll do like that, and it sounds really cool to me. So I'm like, I want to know how he does that. Or there's like another example where like, there's a song called Memphis Soul Stew by King Curtis, and it's just like, I don't even know if I'm gonna play it right, but it's like, and then I don't know. He's basically sliding up and down. And I want to know how to play that, so clearly I forgot. But my point is, if you hear something in a song and you're like, how do they do that? Look it up and practice it. And then before you know it, you'll be able to start throwing it in. You'll get that technique down. It's just a technique. You get the technique down, you'll start being able to improvise with it. So if you don't necessarily want to learn songs per se, like me, I just don't care. I am stubborn. That is it. It's very hard to learn a song perfectly. It really is, and I just don't have the patience for it most of the time. But I like to learn little snippets of songs because it's just going to make you better. You'll know it. You're not going to learn everything by doing the way I showed you. At some point, you're going to just have to listen to somebody who knows what they're doing. But you can lay a very strong foundation by just practicing scales and just trying things. Just try. Leave your ego. It doesn't matter. No one cares. Unless you're up on stage and you're like, I'm really good at guitar, listen to me play, and you suck. Then people will care. But in your living room or whatever, no one cares. Just go for stuff. And then use other people's techniques and like pieces of songs that you like. Figure out what they did. Look up tabs. They're called tabs online. Or watch YouTube videos right now are probably the best way to do that. Because people will very slowly show you, what they're doing. And you can just follow along. Once you pick it up, throw it into your jam toolbox. That's it, guys. If you had that guitar in the corner or that piano, like I said, I can't talk about piano. I can't talk about the trumpet. I got a harp back there. Vocals. My wife has a beautiful voice. I don't know. Well, I guess you could apply this to vocals. It's the same. It's the same thing. Just play. Just go. It's the scale. Knowing scale patterns are a good enough foundation. If you thought that what I played there, sorry, I got cut off there, and you're probably cheering. But if you thought what I played there was remotely passable, or maybe you're just like, it'd be cool to be able to play like that. It could be fun to pass time that way. That's how I learned. That's it right there. So now you know everything I know about guitar, and however long this video is, I don't know, it could be 15 minutes or 45 minutes, but just know I don't have to make another guitar video. I got this out of my system. I'm done. Stop by sometime, the 3 Storm Fitness Gym in Gallipolis, Ohio, if you want me to train you, or you want to train with me, or you want to play guitar. Let's stop by, let's jam, whatever, however you want to phrase it, or we could roll on the mats, do some jiu-jitsu, all sorts of stuff. All right, guys, Rob Shoecraft, 3 Storm Fitness. Hopefully you don't hate me for making this video. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, thank you very much. I hit 1,000 subscribers recently. Guys, thank you so much for, hopefully this doesn't let you down. Hopefully I'm not going to lose subscribers over this. If I do, it's your prerogative. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.